Multiple explosions rocked Kyiv overnight as Russian airplanes fired missiles from the Caspian Sea, as Vladimir Putin warned the West against arming Ukraine with long-range missiles. According to the Russian TASS news agency, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that if the U.S. began arming Ukraine with longer-range missiles, Moscow would hit new targets. Ukraine's railway infrastructure has been targeted by Russia, according to Ukrainian officials, but Moscow claims it has destroyed T-72 tanks delivered to Ukraine from Eastern Europe. Russian soldiers have been pushed back in Severodonetsk, according to Luhansk Governor Serhiy Haidai, in eastern Ukraine, where the majority of the combat has been concentrated in recent weeks. Dark smoke billowed into the sky as the sun rose over Kyiv on Sunday morning, following explosions in the Darnitsky and Dniprovsky districts, according to the city's mayor Vitaly Klitschko. The Russians launched missiles from Tu-95 aircraft from the Caspian Sea, according to early data, the Ukrainian Air Forces stated in a statement. Mr. Klitschko said the blasts were heard in the Darnitsky and Dniprovsky areas in a telegram message. At this time, no civilians have been killed or injured as a result of missile strikes on infrastructure, he stated. Mikhailo Podolyak, a Ukrainian presidential advisor, called the bombing new devious attacks by Russia, and criticized French President Emmanuel Macron's declaration that Moscow should not be embarrassed. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, high-precision, long-range air-launched missiles were deployed, and the strikes destroyed T-72 tanks supplied by Eastern European countries that were housed in a train car maintenance shop. Tanks were not found inside, according to the head of Ukraine's railway system. In excerpts from a future interview, President Putin indicated that if the West supplies Ukraine with longer-range missiles, we would strike at those sites which we have not yet been targeting. Meanwhile, violence has continued in the southeastern districts of Donetsk and Luhansk, which have been the focus of the Russian army since it withdrew from Kyiv, Ukraine's capital. Ukrainian soldiers have launched a counter-offensive in Severodonetsk, claiming to have retaken ground from Russian forces. The governor of Luhansk province, Serhiy Haidai, said on Sunday that Ukrainian forces controlled almost half of the city after retaking a substantial section from Russian forces. It had been a difficult situation because the Russians held 70% of the city, but they have been pushed back in the last 2 days, he stated on Ukrainian television. Ukraine's counter-offensive, according to the British Ministry of Defense, MOD, is likely blunting the operational momentum Russian troops previously achieved from concentrating combat units and weaponry. If Russia captures Severodonetsk and Lysychansk, the province of Luhansk would fall under Russian authority, as will the entire Donbas region, which encompasses Luhansk and Donetsk. Next will be Poland, the Baltic nations, Slovakia, and others, Mr. Reznikov said, unless the Russians are forced out of Ukraine. That is why, in the future, we must halt Russia and constrain them. After President Macron was chastised for declaring that Moscow should not be humiliated over its neighbor's incursion, he issued a warning about Russia's intentions. We must not embarrass Russia, Mr. Macron said in an interview with a regional daily, so that when the war ceases, we can build an exit ramp through diplomatic methods.